Hi, Jules here and welcome to Jules FM. Today's episode is a recap of my conversation with Dave Griffin. And I've got to say, his story is pretty cool. And I've been thinking about it since I recorded because there's something in particular about it that I loved. And it's not a story about someone who had it all figured out. It's not even a story about someone who took one brave leap and landed it perfectly, or who's had the glaring success that we kind of tie in with, achieving all your dreams. The story's about a kid who knew what he loved and how that love, even when it wasn't clear or in the front of his mind, and even when life took him somewhere else entirely, never really went away. When Dave was 8 years old, an author came to his school. And that author was Christabel Mattingly. And something happened in that moment that he's kept with him ever since. And it wasn't just the stories. It was the feeling the stories created. The way they made him feel, heard, seen, moved. Like something real had passed between the person who wrote the stories and the kid sitting in the audience. And 8-year-old Dave decided, that's what I want to do. I want to make people feel that. I love this so much because I genuinely believe, and the more people I speak to on this podcast, the more it's confirmed for me, that we often know what we're meant to be doing before the world gets a chance to talk us out of it. Before we start asking whether I'll make money from it, or we wonder what our parents might think, or we decide it's not practical or realistic or sensible. At 8 years old, before any of that happens, sometimes we just know. And Dave knew. Now, as with most 8-year-old boys, Dave also had two other significant preoccupations, football and girls. Now, I'm not sure there is a career in chasing girls, at least one I'm not aware of, but AFL absolutely became part of the picture. So Dave grew up with two great loves, storytelling and football. And here's where I reckon his story gets really interesting, because both of them matter, just not in the way he expected. Dave pursued his AFL dream seriously. He was drafted by the Sydney Swans and he played one game of AFL. Now, it's easy to think that he only played one game, so his football career didn't work out. But that's not what Dave's story says, and that's not how he sees it. He got there, he played, box ticked. One game of AFL is more games than most people who dream of it ever play. And he made it. He did his thing. Actually, I kind of take the liberty there. He might not agree that he made it, but I reckon box ticked. And then there's a detail in Dave's football story that I love, I think even more, because the universe really does have a sense of humour about these things. Part of Dave's AFL childhood dream was to run onto the MCG, to be on that ground, to feel what it feels like. And he did that as well. Just not as a player though, but as a runner for Hawthorn. He ran onto the MCG for a Hawthorn final. That dream came true. It was just not in the way that 8-year-old Dave had pictured it. And somehow I guess that makes it, I think it makes it even better, because it's a reminder that the universe is often far more creative about how it delivers the things that we are after than we are when we're busy making plans. And looking back now, with all the perspective that time gives you, those AFL years were doing something else entirely for Dave. They weren't just about ticking that goal and helping him achieve that dream. They were introducing him to people, giving him experiences, placing him in rooms and stadiums and conversations that he could never have engineered deliberately. The AFL players he met, the stories he heard, the world he got to see up close, all of it, without him knowing it at the time, was material. It was becoming the foundation for the books that he hadn't written yet. And I keep coming back to that idea of the airplane that's flying from A to B, and it's off course roughly 90% of the time. But it gets there because it just keeps adjusting along the way. It keeps moving. It doesn't just stop because it's not in the perfect line. And Dave's story, I reckon, was a bit like that. And honestly, so is mine. Probably so is yours. Today, Dave is the general manager of a large shoe company, and he's successful, really successful, respected, and this is important. He genuinely loves his work. And I want to be clear about that because this isn't a story about someone who's been living the wrong life and finally escaped. Dave isn't escaping anything. But he'll also tell you honestly that his career, as good as it is, isn't the thing that makes his heart sing. Writing does. And here's the beautiful thing. His career has kept feeding the writing anyway. Through Puma in the early days, he met AFL players and sporting greats. And through his running and his work at Stall, The Gift, he met Kathy Freeman and other extraordinary athletes. And all of them, his stories have impacted him in some way. Some of them have moved him deeply. And through every role, every city, every conversation, he was collecting more and more. He just didn't always know that that's what he was doing. Emma Murray said it. Janine Ellis said it as well. And I find myself saying it to my kids more and more. Nothing is ever a waste of time. Every experience, even the ones that feel like detours, even the ones that are genuinely hard at times or confusing or feel like they're taking you in the wrong direction, they're doing something, building something, connecting something. You just can't always see it from the inside. Often it is retrospectively. And so the writing. Dave has been writing books. And what started as something in the background, something that has always been there, just waiting in the background, is now taking up more and more of his time, his energy, and his heart. Not because his career isn't working, but because this is the thing, the true thing, the alignment, the thing 8-year-old Dave decided in a school hall watching an author hold a room. And what I love most about this part of Dave's story is what's happened since he started writing, the people he's met through his books, the experiences he's had, the opportunities, the doors that have opened. It's like the passion, once properly followed, generates its own momentum. It feeds itself and the world just opens up. It's its own next chapter. Vicky Petrator said something similar. She knew her direction, but she could never have predicted how it would unfold. The opportunities, the people, the experiences that came along the way were beyond anything she could have conceived of. That's what following your passion actually looks like from the inside. Not a straight line, not a plan that executes perfectly. Just keep moving toward the thing. Trust that it's doing the work even when you can't see it, and then just watch it unfold. Dave set a goal to play AFL, specifically to run onto the MCG, and he did as a runner for Hawthorn. Not how he imagined it, but he got there. The universe delivered it in its own way. He followed his love of stories. He built a successful career. He kept collecting experiences and people and moments. And now, bit by bit, the thing he knew he wanted at 8 years old is becoming the center of his story. So what am I taking from Dave's story? Well, I think it's this. Keep following the thing that has always called you. Keep giving it space. Keep trusting that the experiences I'm accumulating, even the ones that seem completely unrelated or sideways, and at times difficult, are connecting to something. Dave couldn't have known at 22 that AFL players he was meeting would become characters in his book. And he couldn't have known that every shoe sale, every industry relationship, every early morning run would be building something. But it was. And I think about my own path, the voice work, the teaching, the detours, the tweaks, and the moments like I'm just not sure what I'm doing. And I'm starting to trust that, well, more than I used to, that it's all connecting, that it's all becoming something. And then it's going to come together, and it may not make sense right now for me, but later on, when I look back retrospectively, I just am trusting that it's all going to make sense. I don't know exactly what yet. Like I have an idea of my direction, but who knows? The universe has its own way of showing up. But I'm also less scared of not knowing, I think, than I used to be. And Dave helped with that. Thank you for joining me for this one. If you haven't listened to Dave's story yet, do. It's great. And if you have, and it resonated, maybe have a listen to Vicky Betraytis' episode as well. A fantastic companion to Dave's. She knew her direction, but the way it unfolded, the opportunities that came for her, the experiences that found her, she could never have imagined any of it. She just kept following her heart and letting go of needing to know how it would end up. It's a great one. Until next time.